Hello, and welcome to the Simplify Your Retirement Podcast with Stephen Strickland. Hello, Stephen.
Hey, Paul. How's it going?
It's going very well. You know, this morning I woke up and I thought, you know what? I love aging.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great thing.
Everyone, you think about.
Yeah, everyone. I mean, that's the thing that everyone loves, but the reality of it is we all age, right?
Yes, that's right.
And so it's not a topic that people necessarily like to talk about. Mm-hmm. You want to really kill a conversation at a party or something, talk about aging and talk about death. You know, I mean, those are just two things people have. So bring up life insurance and long-term care insurance, and people are going to just kind of shut up because they don't want to talk about this stuff.
Every day, people aren't waking up saying, oh, I'm a day older or I feel older. Every day we're trying to feel younger, look younger. Yeah. That's like the goal of every day. Now talking about, hey, I'm one day older. Yeah. But the reality is one day older.
Absolutely.
Even though we're trying to look young, feel young, and we shouldn't.
And so the challenge is, how do we talk about it and think about it? But not only do people not want to talk about that, then the biggest thing they don't want to talk about, besides their own death, right, is the idea of a nursing home.
Right.
I mean, that is like the number one thing that people dread, and they want to do everything they can to stay at home as long as they possibly can. Right. And so that's one of the things we do when we meet with people to talk about retirement planning, is putting together a plan to help them be able to age well and age in place, be able to age at home in the comfort of their own home, and avoid, if at all possible, going to a facility. Yeah. Right.
And I think it's emotional for someone to think about going into a facility, leaving their home, and that's the next place they go. I think it's an emotional problem even for the people making those decisions to put their loved ones into a separate home, move them out of their house, move them there. All of it gets very emotional, but then that's not even the financial. All of a sudden, when you move out of your home and into someone, in an assisted living facility or a nursing home, the expenses just go way up because now you're somewhere else, the facility, all those kinds of things, and food and shelter and all those things.
Yeah. So as we're doing a few episodes here on the idea of aging and aging well, which kind of goes along with what we're doing in the summer of 2025 for our clients here at Wise Wealth, where we're talking about how to age well, right? I'm excited about today because I know that you have a guest here with us today that is really, from the practical standpoint, going to help people ideally stay at home indefinitely or as long as possible and avoid the nursing home. So who do we have with us today, Stephen?
Yeah, well, I said Brian Cook with us today from an organization called Right at Home.
Hello.
Hey, thanks for being here, Brian.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Yeah, like Paul said, our goal with our clients, obviously, we help people with financial planning, help people prepare for retirement, but then we also look at and say, someone's number one financial risk when they go into retirement normally is nursing home, assisted living, long-term care. It can really wipe out someone's, financial assets that they've got. And so it's a big focus of our firm. And we want to help people try to save as much money as they can, preserve it as much as they can. And so I know that's why your organization exists, not only to save money, let's say, but also to provide, care for seniors when they most need it.
Yeah. Yeah. Our goal is to improve the quality of life for the people we serve. And a lot of times people want to stay at home, and focusing on keeping them there is really helping them improve the quality of their life.
Awesome. So Brian Cook is the owner of this organization here called Right at Home. It's in Lee Summit, Missouri. There's a couple other offices that they have throughout the KC Metro, but Brian's location is here in Lee Summit. And before starting this organization or running this group right here in Lee Summit, your background has been in healthcare.
That's
You've
right.
kind of been in the healthcare industry your whole career. So I want to start there. Just say, so for most of your career, you were involved in like wound care.
That's right. Wound care, hyperbaric medicine. What we did was help people heal the chronic wounds that they couldn't heal. And we contracted with hospitals and we opened outpatient facilities to help them with that. As I was telling you earlier, we didn't have a lot of younger people with wounds that they couldn't heal. So you kind of naturally develop a passion for working with the elderly and working with senior citizens. And so that's kind of driven the trajectory of my career moving forward.
Yeah, so kind of always been, it was wound care, but it was mostly dealing with seniors
Right.
who really need the most help with that. And then I know during COVID, you kind of switched careers. You went into like medical device.
Yeah, well, more like healthcare informatics and
Informatics, okay.
yeah. So we worked for a company called WellSky, and they specialize in electronic medical records and electronic visit verification systems. And they acquired a product called ClearCare, which is a electronic visit verification system for home care.
Okay.
And so that's how I got introduced into the home care world.
Okay, gotcha. So always been in the medical field, helping with seniors, and now devices at home, and looking at the records of people who have home care and those kinds of things. So then, what got you excited about Right at Home when you heard about this industry, this opportunity, this business? What was it about it that you said, "Hey, this is what I want to do"?
Well, first of all, my youngest son is getting ready to go to school for the first time. He's enrolling in kindergarten, and I wanted to get out and actually kind of have more of a transformative impact on the communities we serve. It's always been a passion.
Yep.
But Right at Home is right off the top of it became clear that they were a relationship-based business.
Okay.
And I knew that going forward, if I was going to get into home care and serve the people and help them age in place, we'd have to focus on the relationships. And so I felt the culture of the organization mirrored the culture of the organization I wanted to create.
Yep. That's awesome. That's why we get along.
Yes.
We're obviously very relationship driven, and we like to partner with firms that feel the same. It's not a numbers game. It's not just get people in and out. And there's actually real people, real lives that you can make a difference, which is awesome. Which I'm sure that you're seeing a lot of. So Right at Home. So what is the concept of Right at Home? What are you trying to do with to help as people age?
Really, we're just trying to make sure that they are healthy, safe, and happy living at home, and they can live a fulfilled life, being around the people they love and having access to them at home.
And the point is to try to stay at home all the way through your life as long as possible. That's the goal of your group, to say, we'll bring services in. You don't need to go somewhere else. Stay right at home.
Yeah, as long as that's what that person wants. As long as they're healthy, happy, and safe.
Yep. So then what kind of services, to help people stay at home, what type of service are you doing? Are we talking, personal care, or is it, hey, we're going to take care of your yard, we're going to cook your food, we're going to do, what kind of services do you provide?
So to be kind of transactional about it, there's instrumental activities of daily living that we assist with, and there's the activities of daily living that we assist with, and then there's the companionship around that. So if someone's unable to, for example, to get out of bed on their own, we'll help them with that.
Okay.
If they're unable to take a shower, we'll help them with that. If they just need help going to the grocery store and picking up some produce, we'll help them with that.
Okay.
And part of that service, we can help with transportation and get them from point A to point B. Anything in between. We're not doing lawn care, for example, but we can do some of the things that they might need just to stay in the home, like help them with the dishes and do their laundry, clean their bed linens.
Okay. So do you contract with people that say that someone needs a ramp at their house? In other words, they want to stay at home, but they either got stairs or they've got, some issues there that are going to make it difficult to stay there. What about like construction type of thing or remodeling to help that?
So that's the cool thing about being part of this community, because there's a lot of people in the network that specialize in those types of things. So our goal is not only to be a service provider, but be a resource for people who need services that are kind of outside our scope. So, construction is definitely outside of our scope, but we are affiliated where we know people who can do that well, and we can direct people to those resources as we need to.
So your caregivers go in there and they say, okay, obviously we need a railing here or something like this, and you can say, hey, we're going to contact somebody and get somebody out and do that.
A lot of times we'll find that in the initial consultation we do. We do an initial complimentary consultation just to know what our caregivers are walking into, and it helps us develop a care plan. But our caregivers are going in there almost every day, or at least 3 times a week, and they can see things if there's a change in condition or if they need something new. We can add that to the care plan, or reach out to a family member who can help pursue those other resources that are needed.
Caregivers, are they delivering meals? Are they in there making meals? How does that work if it's like a meal type of thing?
Well, usually it's helping the person living at home prepare their own meals.
Okay.
And sometimes they can prepare the meals for them. But if it's something like a Meals on Wheels thing, we can always network out and find resources for that too.
So, what type of people are you finding that are calling you? Yeah, who's calling you? When are they calling you? And what do they need?
Oh, it's all types. And so on both the supply and the demand side. So the type of people who are looking for services, they can be the person themselves. And usually those are people who are aging at home and solo. But it could be a spouse. A lot of times it's adult children. Sometimes it's a social worker or a senior advocate. So those are the types of people. And then we have the caregivers that are calling us, trying to find a job. And, those are the compassionate people and the reliable people that want to help.
Exactly. So someone with Alzheimer's or dementia, you can go in and help them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Are you, do you guys have people that stay overnight?
We can. Okay. Yeah. We have overnight shifts. We can do it 24/7.
Okay.
A lot of times the overnight shifts are more of those hospice cases,
right.
Okay.
Gotcha.
But sometimes people need help getting out of bed. If we'll have people stay overnight, and if they need help to go to the bathroom or something.
Gotcha. So tell me about the caregivers. What type of people? What type of training, qualifications? What about the people that go in and giving the care?
So primarily, we look for people who are compassionate, people who love this work. Okay. We look for people who are reliable. We're also looking for people with a certain degree of experience, but we're also providing a lot of training on the job. So it starts off with like a 7-hour orientation, followed by about 20, 30 hours of continuing learning within the first 30 days. Okay. And then annual training thereafter.
Gotcha. Are your caregivers allowed to dispense medications, or do they help their clients with that, or how does that work?
No, so that's a really good question because what we're doing is non-medical. We don't have skilled nursing at this point.
That's a good distinction. I mean, this is not medical type of care.
This is not home health, right? So I think I saw in an earlier one of your podcasts you making the distinction between, say, home health and skilled nursing versus non-medical care. And this is purely non-medical. So if from a medication perspective, all we're doing is offering reminders. So for that dementia client or that dementia patient that you have, we're making sure that they're reminded to take their medication, but we're not sorting the pills.
It's more, so that's why the qualifications, compassionate people who will care about your loved one in the home. Right. Because that's the goal. So treat them, nicely and those kinds of things. So I can see that being important. So non-medical care, non-medical services. So then we're talking just about, like you said, maybe basic housekeeping.
Could
be just companionship.
Could be companionship.
What does that look like?
Well, just making sure, dealing with those people who might be socially isolated, making sure that they have someone to talk to. Maybe it's just watching a baseball game at 2:00 in the afternoon, and giving them an opportunity to entertain us, because that everyone has that social relational need, and that's a really important component to someone's emotional and spiritual health.
Okay, gotcha. And then, so if someone says, I've got a loved one here, I want them to have companion care or some of these services, help with, like you said, putting the laundry, or you're doing these kinds of things. Is this a one-time fee? Is this a subscription-based thing? Is it a monthly plan just based on the number of things you might need, or how does that look?
Usually we charge an hourly fee.
Okay.
So we'll go in and we'll establish a care plan, and everything's pretty transparent up front. But if it's, say, a loved one calling and they have a spouse who has Alzheimer's, usually we're there for respite care. Okay. So what we're coming in maybe 3 times a week just to help make sure people are safe and give the spouse a chance to leave and run errands or do whatever he or she may need to do. So it's an hourly fee, and we accept long-term care insurance, short-term care insurance, private duty, and we're also just put in our second submission to Medicaid, so we're not too far away from being Medicaid.
Well, Medicaid, and I know you also mentioned the VA. You're in the queue. You're hoping to be able to partner with the VA and help them, which would be great.
That's right too.
So respite care. That's a big deal. In other words, if you think about it, one person has all maybe the medical needs, or has the Alzheimer's, and the other person living with them has the burden of taking care of them. They want to do it, but certainly 24 hours is a long time, and it's a lot of strain on the mind. And just to have somebody come in and say, hey, you go run your errands, you go grocery shopping, you go see, go get a coffee. I'm going to sit here with your loved one. They're going to be safe. I can imagine how valuable that might be.
Yeah, I mean, it's the burden and the things that I've seen when talking to people who are the caregiver,
right,
is the love that they have for generally their spouse, is so great that they don't want to. They feel bad leaving.
Yeah, they feel guilty.
They feel guilty just walking away, and so there's some education that has to go into that too, because it's okay to get a break,
right?
And it's needed. And so sometimes that's where a service like this with respite care is so critical in those stages, to be able to provide that relief for someone.
Yeah, and I think Medicare is starting to realize that too. They last year they started this program called GUIDE, which is guiding improvements in the dementia experience. And it's a demonstration project that's lasting 8 years, goes through 2032. And part of this is when a client or a person or a Medicare beneficiary links up with a GUIDE participant, they can access about $2,500 or approximately 80 hours of respite care.
Wow.
That we can work with that participant and help provide that.
That would be huge.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's something that will come out. That'd be a big benefit. So you mentioned something very important. That is that you are long-term care insurance eligible. People can use their long-term care insurance benefits to help pay for these costs.
That's right.
That's amazing. That's huge. So people sign up. It's an hourly fee. Someone might say, hey, I want someone to come in every day for an hour. I want someone to come in 3 days a week for 3 hours. It could just be any sort of time frame.
It can be.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Good. Awesome. Well, I think it's a needed thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just one of these things, Paul, that we talk about. Our job here is obviously to help people, plan for retirement, serve, enjoy life.
Yes.
Sometimes you get to later in life and it's hard to enjoy it because there are wounds, there are sicknesses, there are the inability, to some of these activities of daily living.
Yeah.
And you just need help with these things. But then, so to be able to enjoy life all the way through, not have to leave your house, not going to stop. That's why we want to introduce our clients and our audience to these services. Yeah. A lot of times people don't know that these things exist, and that's why we're doing this.
Exactly. And I am curious too. One question that I have that those watching and listening may have too is, you talked about a plan of care, establishing a plan of care at the beginning. And so even when we're dealing with financial planning, people come in and we put together an initial plan, and then life happens, right? And so we have to review it. And it's not the same for everyone. So do you have a standard of when you review that plan of care? What triggers a review of the plan of care? What triggers a revision? All of that.
So just on a general routine basis, we're looking at every care plan every 30 days. But we also have triggers in our electronic visit verification system where a caregiver can note there's a change in condition. So they might notice that their specific client might be behaving a little bit different, or their skin tone might have changed, or their appetite might have changed. And so that'll automatically trigger a care plan review. And so we're always changing these things. In fact, we implemented a new technology called Ride Assist, which gives our client's family the ability to kind of monitor their loved one from afar. Awesome. They wear like a little wristband, like a Fitbit thing, and they can see like what their gait speed are, how many times they're getting up out of bed at night. Yeah. And so recently we had a client, we noticed that she's getting out of bed over 5 times a night. And so we noted that they have a cardiology appointment this week. And so we gave their adult child the information so they could take that to their cardiologist. Awesome.
Good. Yeah. Good. And I know that's, even for us, that's one of the advantages of working with someone who does this day in and day out is someone who's not emotionally tied to the situation or the person. A lot of times someone living at home with them can overlook, can make excuses for, in a sense, can write off these changes, whereas someone who has experience with it and doesn't have that emotional attachment, they have the compassion, they want to see them taken care of, they're able to say, we're seeing something happen here. And so it's great to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no question. In other words, I think that's right. I think sometimes loved ones see someone else, they either don't want to tell anybody because they feel bad, or they don't want anything to change, and they think they're caring for them, to not say, hey, my husband got up 5 times in the middle of the night. They don't want to say it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those kinds of things. But it's important for someone to know. It's like that's good.
Yeah, and we can objectify a lot of it. So we have the graphs to prove it, and the empirical information to.
So you start with a client care profile.
Yeah, we'll get everything from
assessment.
What their needs are from a physical perspective, but we're also noting what their hobbies are, how they relax, what their social situation looks like, whether or not there's pets in the home. And we're working around all of that to develop a more comprehensive approach to making sure that they can stay safe, happy, and healthy in their home.
Absolutely. I like the slogan, you know what I mean? We all have one, but right at home is let's start talking about living.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
This is what we're all about here, man.
Yeah,
Enjoying life. So
absolutely.
you get there. Obviously there's the medical side of things, but then there's also just the personal care. I guess I don't know how to describe the whole thing, but it's non-medical, just caring about people, being there for them, making sure they're okay, having someone to talk to, companionship, those kinds of things.
That's right.
Outside with a dog or whatever.
Well, we're just making sure people have the resources to stay home, live safely, live happily. And, we, like I mentioned before, it's a relationship-based organization. So we're developing a relationship with our clients. We're making sure that they have what they need to, so that they can live emotionally healthy, spiritually healthy, socially healthy, and physically healthy.
Someone in Lee Summit. So how do they get a hold of you guys?
All they have to do is call us, 816-277-0837.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll put a link in the show notes to your website too, so they can
I know that's
definitely get that.
rightathome.net, right?
That's right.
Rightathome.net. You can go to their website there. I think they've got a lot of great resources, and we're going to put that in the show notes page too. And but once again, Paul, this is why we do this. We're trying to add value. Right? Someone may need this. Someone may know someone who may need this. You may need this in the future, and those kinds of things. We just want to make our audience aware that these sorts of services exist, so you don't do it alone.
Yeah.
So you can enjoy life as long as possible.
Yeah, and absolutely. And the reason that we do it too is also we're trying to find people that are like-minded, like you said. And so sometimes it's from an education-based standpoint, sometimes it's from a relational standpoint, but we do business a certain way, right? And it's not transactional. And so obviously when it comes to someone's health and the ability to stay at home and to live well and age well, it's not a transaction.
Right.
And so you don't want someone you want someone with a heart. You always talk about it with the advancement of AI and technology. Technology can be a good tool. But technology doesn't have a heart.
We always tell everybody, AI, robo-advisors have a brain, but they don't have a heart.
Right.
And so that's the great thing about your business. Certainly, there may be medical devices that can help, that can give information, but it's never going to replace, EI, emotional intelligence, that the connections of people with other people, relationships. And like Paul's saying, obviously we actually care about people.
Yes.
So in other words, that's why we're concerned about this. We want people to know, hey, listen, there's help for you. There are services available to you. And it's just really about taking care of people all the way through life.
Yep.
That's what we want.
And it just starts with a conversation.
Yep.
That's what I hear from you. And even here, when we talk about planning, putting together a plan starts with a conversation.
Yep.
What does life look like to you? What does retirement look like to you? What does living well and safe and happy at home look like to you? And let's figure out how we can best make that happen in relation to where you're at currently. And so it does just start with the conversation, whether it's calling right at home to have that conversation, or it's calling to have a conversation here with Wise Wealth, giving us a call to be able to talk about an overall comprehensive plan of not just what might home care look like, but also how do we pay for it? How do we plan for that?
Right.
How do we help my parents through this? Whatever that is, That's why we take time to do this, and it just starts with a conversation. So if you just have questions and want to have a conversation with someone, it's as simple as a phone call. You can call us here at 816-246-9473. That's 816-246-WISE. You can send us an email at info@wisewealth.com, and we'd love to be able to have that conversation with you. But that's where it starts, is not burying your head in the sand, not admitting that there may be a need for a plan is not a bad thing.
Right.
Ignoring it is bad. It can be detrimental. And sometimes if you wait too long to plan, then you're in crisis mode. And we all deal with crisis mode, but that's not ideal. And so the ideal time is to plan. It's never too late to start planning, but it's also never too early to start planning. So give us a call. Stephen, thank you for, again, your time, for bringing on great guests that align philosophically, emotionally with us. And Brian, thank you for coming in today and being able to let our listeners know and our viewers know kind of what practically living and staying at home looks like, so that you can be safe, healthy, and happy at home. And so from all of us here, we do appreciate you watching. We appreciate your time. And, you know, our last thank you really goes to you, our listening, viewing audience. You're the reason we do this. So if you haven't already, click the like button, click the subscribe button so that you get notified when the new episode comes out. Share this with someone you know. We all are aging every single day. We have parents that age. We have family members that age. There's someone probably in your life right now who is dealing with this that could use this information. Share this with them, because this is valuable information for people to be able to make a plan so that they can be safe, healthy, and happy at home. And again, we thank you for watching. We thank you for tuning in. And from Paul here and all of us here at Wise Wealth, we want to remind you that financial peace comes with having a plan. And we'll see you next time.